up in the morning thinking about food. I fall asleep at night thinking about food.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm really, really good. It's
Good.
nice to be here.
Good. So bright and beautiful and ready.
Yes. You know, we planned this a while ago, so I'm like, let's get this. So I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna first ask you, please tell us your full name and the name of your company.
Yes. My full name is Beltran. The name of my company is the Black Vegan Company.
Tell us why you started the Black Vegan Company.
So ultimately, the Black Vegan Company was started out of gun violence that happened to my family. My husband had just gotten off of a bus and was shot at gunpoint in the large intestine, small intestine, and colon in a robbery. And after the robbery, it shredded his intestine walls. He had multiple surgeries and ended up leaving with a colostomy bag for 2 years and rehabilitation surgeries over the course of 3.5 years. And after all of those surgeries, ultimately we figured out that he could no longer process meat anymore.
Oh, wow.
And through not being able to eat meat anymore, our household, as a half Latino, half African American household, we said, okay, how do we go vegan? Because we don't know what that really means or what that entails. And also, how do we make it culturally relevant for who we are as people with flavor, because we're food connoisseurs. And what does that mean for us in that black brown space? And so we ultimately started taking our traditional family recipes from my grandmother and his family and different things that we both enjoyed, and we just started remixing them and trying them on friends. And as a result, the doctors before said that he would never be the same again, and what ended up happening was he pretty much healed himself in 3 months by going vegan and by eating this way.
Wow.
And same thing happened to me. I was extremely depressed and had anxiety and acne, and my hair wouldn't grow, and I was always tired and angry. And literally within 2 months, I went from a size 10 to a size 2, and everything changed mentally, physically, our endurance, our relationship, everything. And so after we kind of discovered the changes, we said, if other people in our communities are suffering from, gun violence, which we know a lot of people in our communities are, or issues that we go through, traumas that we go through, and if your food can be the change in that, we can really do something really magical. And I'll never forget listening to a Tupac track, and he said, you have to change the way to eat, change the way you think, and you'll change the way you treat each other. And that's how I started. That's what happened to us, and we just kind of had this awakening. And one of our business partners, Rolando Rodriguez, came over and ultimately wanted to have the change happen within himself as well, and ultimately invested into the company and was my first client. And he saw dramatic changes, and that's how the Black Vegan Company got formed. And it was really a Black-Brown alliance about how we were going to speak to our communities about the food that we were eating and what that meant for us, and how we could change the course of our lives by changing what we eat.
Nice, I like it.
So
I think both African Americans and then the Hispanic culture, our foods are just heavily laden in animal meats and fats and processed goods. So how have you seen the shift or the acceptance of this new lifestyle with the incorporation of traditional recipes?
Right. At first I got a lot of resistance. I'm a Black girl from the South. My husband comes from, a traditional, Mexican background, and then also with his mother. And, one of the things for us is when I told my family I was going vegan, my grandmother was like, honey, yeah, you're not gonna come in my kitchen and take my meat away. You're just not gonna do. I think it's cute what you're doing, but like that's not, gonna happen. And she was very resistant to it. But as she started to see me, she would see that my body had shifted, and she would say, "Are you eating?" And I'm like, "Grandmother, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I feel good." She's like, "Yeah, but you look skinny." I don't know about that. I'm like, "Yeah, but I feel great." And so the more I started persisting, the more that things happened for me in my own career. I started landing movie roles and started working with my agent, and I got signed, and you know, my family started to kind of change the way that they looked at me, and they could see that I was feeling better, and that I started to look better, and I started to walk differently. And so then my grandmother would say, "Hey, I was watching the Chew, and they were making this vegan dish. Like, why don't you come over? I'm gonna make it with this, but I'll make it separately for you this way." And then she would just start cooking that way naturally for herself. And a couple days out of the week, she would have vegan options. And then the same thing with my mother. And so the more that we kind of got to have this communal experience in the kitchen where we were like, "Hey, meet me halfway, meet me 80-30 or 80-20, you know, and I'll, you know, just incorporate things." They started to open up more, and we started developing more things in the kitchen to where I'd run around the corner after making a big pot of vegan chili and be like, "Grandma, taste this. Like, does this taste like your chili?" And I would use the same ingredients, and she'd be like, "Girl, I didn't know that was vegan. How did you do that?" You know?
That's so cute.
And so it started to grow, but that's how we started testing the recipes. It was with friends and family, and started incorporating what we all liked, and that's what a lot of my menu is today. So.
So do you have a background in cooking, or you just cook just for fun or for your family, or?
They have stories of me as a baby, like singing and dancing around food. I played collegiate volleyball, and my coaches would let me kind of plan out where we were going to eat on the trips based on the menu, because they knew I was so excited about all the stops through backwoods Missouri, or you know, for all these places. And I've always had a real passion for food. It came from my grandmother and always being in her kitchen. So I've never been a classically trained chef, but I have everyone's always come to my house for Sunday dinners. I was always a spot to go to when people were wanting to be fed. And I really thoroughly enjoyed feeding people, and the ability to satisfy people, and also to be able to guide people to a healthier space now. And when you can like make someone's taste buds pop, and they think that they're eating the most unhealthiest thing for them, but it's actually helping their body, it's like there's no better feeling than that.
Yeah, so that's great.
Yeah.
You probably already touched on this a little bit. What do you think is the biggest misconception about vegan food and the vegan lifestyle?
So I think there's a couple of things. One of the biggest misconceptions about vegan food is that people always question, where am I going to get my protein? Because vegan food doesn't have any protein in it. And they all say it just like that in that voice. I'm just kidding. And the other thing too is that it's not going to be satisfying. You know, that's something that's really important for me. I don't go in to eat just to like fill up. I really have to have all the notes resonate with my soul. And I don't like piss poor food. I just don't. I am very thoughtful about the people and the ingredients, not just for the flavor, but also, you know, paprika relieves inflammation. Pink Himalayan sea salt still has the minerals in it, so it rips and pulls out all of the toxins and, you know, all of the impurities in your body. Crushed red pepper helps with inflammation, so if you suffer from arthritis, it can help with that. Turmeric does the same thing. But when you take all those flavors, they have great impacts on the palate. And so you start seeing that vegan food can also resonate as culturally relevant and flavorful and pop off of your plate. And that's really important, is going into it, letting people know, no, vegan food is not only going to be satisfying, but it's going to be good for the soul. Like, we're going to make something really, and this is like real soul food, not the slops that we were given to us as slaves, but this is what we're actually going to do to cure our mental illness and the way we move and the way we think and the way, you know, we feel. And so that's the biggest misconception that we like to kind of steer people towards and say, no, look at this thoughtful portion of food for our people.
So you're basically what's redefining the term soul food.
Right. Exactly.
I like that.
Yes. And it's food that actually is really good and truly for the soul. You know, your food should enable you to do and be better, not to, you know, put you down on the couch to knock you out to have you sleep.
Yeah.
You know, there's no wonder that you're not being productive in life, because your food is slowing you down. If you wake up tired and lethargic, if you're angry, if you're, you know, you hurt, or you're in pain, or mentally you're not strong, if you change the way you eat, all of those things will change and evolve as well. So we like to take the misconceptions about vegan food being celery sticks and, you know, salad, because we don't do that. I mean, we can.
Tofu.
Right, and tofu, which I cannot stand. I can't stand tofu. I can't stand it. I don't cook with tofu if I can help it. I don't like it. Yes. No tofu.
You named a couple of different ingredients that you say you feel add soul to the food. You mentioned Himalayan pink salt, turmeric. What was some others?
Crushed red pepper. One of the things we're actually cooking with now, we're currently on tour with Central Market, and one of the things that we've been incorporating and cooking with is adaptogens. And adaptogens are mushrooms and roots from India and Asia that help you adapt to the daily stressors of life. And so they support your adrenal glands, and they help with, you know, your mental state or mood. My husband battled PTSD terribly bad after his shooting. And we had to throw out the medication because it was just way too much. And it turned him into a person that we didn't recognize. And so after getting rid of the medication and going a more holistic route and switching to adaptogens, the man was dancing, you know, for 45 minutes at a time after taking mushrooms. And I'm like, why are we not telling people this? You know, why are we continuing to give them these medications? And so cooking with hemp has one of the highest sources of protein in any plant that there is. So why are we not cooking more with hemp? It's legal in the state of Texas. Adaptogens are not the ones that are going to give you, you know, put you on a psychedelic trip, but, you know, they're sold at Central Market, you know, over your countertop, or over the counter. So little things like that you can find in your grocery store. Turmeric helps with inflammation if you're inflamed in your gut, or you need to flush your system or detox. So it's like using all these things to cook with, you get all of the nutrients that you're gonna need. I wake up in the morning thinking about food. I fall asleep at night thinking about food. So whatever I'm craving, I think about my favorite dishes that I've gone, you know, to try at other restaurants. Whenever I go to other restaurants and establishments and food really resonates with me, I'm always inspired to go home and recreate that with what I have. I always cook seasonally. I work for Johnson's Backyard Garden, which is the largest organic farm in Texas. And so
in Texas?
In Texas.
Wow.
Top 10 in the nation.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a huge farm right in East Austin. It's all local. They service HEB, Central Market, Whole Foods, Wheatsville. So, and then they also have a huge presence at the market here. The gift and the curse of that is, the gift is you're always, you know, eating amazing organic food, but it's also seasonally. So things that you fall in love with, they might leave for the season and you're heartbroken. That happens like 4 times a year, where you're like, there's no more dill. What are we gonna do? Until next spring, and then Thai basil comes in. So you're like, I can do that. But when you go to establishments and you, when you have that inspiration where you're so excited, you get back in your own kitchen, you're like, all right, what was that taste and that flavor? I want people to be just as excited about the food that I cook, to like want to recreate that, because I can't always be in the kitchen with people. So even though I do cooking lessons and grocery store tours, and I want to be there to be your guide, I want you to be self-sufficient as your own vegan chef, if you will. You know, if it's for just one lunch for the entire week, or if it's every day, 7 days a week, you know, 365. So it's exciting and it's fun, and I always love recreating foods from other places. So my top 2 recipes is, which I think we were getting to, right?
Favorite vegan recipe? Yes.
Yes.
Or 2.
Yes.
Or 3.
So there's 2. One everybody loves. The reason I love it is because as a mom, it's quick, it's simple, it's easy, it satisfies the palate, and it like hits home. Are our famous flautas that we are cooking on tour with Central Market. But for the past 3 years, we've just been making flautas everywhere that we go, in Houston, San Antonio, Austin, and Dallas, for the past 4 years, and people just lose their minds. I've actually seen people almost get in fights over over flautas at the grocery store, and like when the new batch comes out, and it's so simple and easy. If you want the recipe, you can go on the blog, theblackvegancompany.com. Our famous blog, that recipe is there.
Okay.
And you have everything. They're so simple and so easy. We also have a few videos on our Instagram page that we've made about the flautas. But my secret one that no one's tried yet, that we're actually sneak peek for 2020, working on a cookbook.
Oh, nice.
One of the things that we've been testing right now for one of the recipes is fried chicken. And so one of the things we've been doing is taking mushrooms like lion's mane and oyster mushrooms, and taking them and making like chicken fried steaks with homemade gravy, but making our own batters that are actually helpful and healthy with the body and that correspond with the body. And whenever we actually fry the chicken, we fry it in avocado oil. And it's just got this amazing crunch, and it tastes like Popeye's chicken, It's really fun, and we've been doing some really exciting things with that at home. So I'm excited to get that one out to everybody. So those are kind of my two.
Okay, so we have a cookbook on the way.
Yes.
We have some chicken coming down the line.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. What services does the Black Vegan Company provide?
Yes, absolutely. So we do an assortment of things. We do education series.
Okay.
We do grocery store tours where we take you to your local grocery store. We meet you, whether it's an HEB or Central Market. We usually do one of those two because everyone is kind of in those areas and zones. And they also have a wide array of product that you can find that's vegan friendly and cost efficient.
Okay.
And so what we do is we show up at your local grocery store, and we take you through the entire store, not just the food, in the produce section and the dry goods, but we also take you through your deodorants and your soaps and your facial cleansers and your makeup, different things that you can do to adapt and change the elements of chemicals that go into your body. And so we do a lot of fun with that. We do pop-ups. We do catering events, and one of the other things we're going to be doing are private dinner parties. We're looking at doing a partnership right now with Dr. Ben's, where we're going to be doing a celebrity private dinner party for South by Southwest. Yes. Okay. So stay tuned for that. And then we're going to be doing adaptogenic parties. So there's a lot of different things that we do. And then we also do, at some point, for some of our other clients, meal prep and private, things in their homes to be able to help them. And so one of the things I always like to share with viewers is, one thing about the Black Vegan Company is that we're also and always going to be a very honest and loving and guided way in the vegan space. And we're a space that's not critical of the way that you approach vegan. My company is made up of a Peruvian, a Black female, myself, a Mexican female, and a Mexican male. And, just as we differ in our ethnicities, we differ in our stages of veganism. One of us, is not vegan, but has a very healthy lifestyle, but his family is vegan. One of us has tried veganism, has gotten on the wagon and fallen off and on and fallen off and on and fallen off, and maybe gone to pescatarianism, and then switches a couple of days out of the week. And then we have one that, for the most part, is pretty dedicated as a vegan, and, occasionally will indulge. And then you have one that's just strict vegan, and that's our makeup of who we are. And that's how we're going to approach each and every person. So a lot of people come and say, oh, I can't use that service because I'm not vegan, or, I can't commit to that because this isn't what I'm looking to do. We're just here to help be a guide, again, whether that's one lunch out of your entire week or month, or just so you have the information. Or whether that's you want to commit to it 7 days a week. And no matter what that is, we're not in a space of judgment. And I think the vegan community has to be more inclusive in the way we talk and approach veganism, and stop demonizing people. And here we're just going to find that way to, we'll give you a little bit of tough love, but at the same time, it's going to be from the heart, and we're really going to care and really be enthusiastic about your steps and your process wherever you are. So.
I like that. I think a lot of people who are even considering a healthy lifestyle face judgment, especially depending on what end of the spectrum they're on.
Right.
So it's really, really important to be open and inclusive and, you know, oh, you're not vegan because you eat honey or something, you know, something like that. So I really appreciate that y'all are taking that into account, especially with our community, because food is such a sensitive topic.
It is so sensitive. You can get beat up. I have been threatened in people's homes before by taking their meat away. They literally, and you know, it for me too, because for Black and brown communities, the kitchen and the dinner table, sometimes that's all we have. It's an important time for us. And so when you try and separate our identity from us, which is defined in our food, you're going to find a lot of resistance. And so we're not going to just strip it from you. We're going to show you how to evolve and to elevate your food.
Beautiful.